Shut up and sit down.
Oh God, here it comes. Oh, hot, 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 hot. Hot, 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 hot.
Going on a bike ride, sidewalk on my right side. I could go anywhere.
Feel the burn.
Going on a bike ride, nothing but the sunshine. I could go anywhere.
You are listening to the Dialed Podcast with Matt Legrand,
Sir Ian Gibson,
Lance Hepler, and Jake Von Turing. It's a spicy one.
Hot garbage.
And the barbell sings. What a simple thing.
Ow! Heat was hot.
Going on a bike ride.
Yep, no doubt about it. We are the A-hole.
Hi, and welcome back to the Dial Podcast. I'm Jake Von Turing, and I'm here with Lance freaking Hepler.
What's up, Mother Scratchers?
PG.
Oh, I said Mother Scratcher.
Yeah.
PG.
It's Lance friggin' Hepler. Hello.
Lance freaking PG Hepler.
PG, baby. Gotta love that. Let's see here. Let's go across the table. Let's mix it up a little bit.
Mix it up.
The one and only Matt Legrand.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen of the internet? You guys look distressed. You're so distressed, and
I'm not stressed at all. What are you talking about?
you look distressed.
I feel great. You're distressed. You're looking in the mirror, buddy.
Moving along to my left.
Yeah, I'm cycling through things here. To Matt's left,
There it is.
Sir Ian Gibson.
Now I feel better.
I'm distressed. I got relegated to fourth place. What? Hey, up. How do? It's Ian Gibson.
Sweet. All right. It's another week. It's another back pedal. Matt, you and I had like some crazy busy weeks. Let's get us out of the way. Why don't you get us started, bud?
Sure. I'm still on my dialed 100 thing. Can someone tell us where we are?
90 today.
90? Oh, I thought we were into the 90s. Okay, good.
Or 91.
90. 90-ish.
Or 90-ish.
90-ish. Couple more to go. We're getting there.
Sweet.
And
Is that the end of your season then when you hit 100?
Yep, that's
That's
it.
it. Done.
Hang up
That's
your bike.
it. Yep. Sell the bike at that point. Anyone wants a sweaty bike seat? Yeah. Then I swam with the legendary Evan Price on Sunday. It was great.
Cool.
Yeah, it was fun. I haven't seen that guy in a long time. And Ethan came and swam with those guys too.
Inside or outside?
We were inside on the inside pool at whatever it is.
Golds?
No, the
Cascade?
Cascade.
There you go.
Yeah, it's a good pool. Ethan can crush those guys. He was doing backstroke with them when they were like pushing hard. I was on the opposite side of the spectrum. I was like, all right, you guys are doing 200s. I'll do 150s and I can stay on your set and it'll be fine. So we all swam together. It was fun.
So Ethan was really putting it to him, huh?
I mean, he's just strong. He's just faster than they are. Like it's because he's 14 and, same thing with cycling, right?
Sure.
Like you have these kids and you're like, oh, okay. And if you took a kid that's that age and you were like, you're going to bike 3 hours a day or whatever, I mean, they'd be insane, right? It's like
Right.
Same for swimming. Like they move through the water slightly differently. And yeah, so he can, in backstroke is kind of his thing. So he can mix in some backstroke. And the workout was basically like 10 times 200. There's like a little preset before that, but it was a tough set. I was struggling because I've not been swimming enough. And then I've been doing some running. And the rest of my cycling is just sitting on Zwift in some sort of like group ride thing and watching some crappy show. So
Good job.
way to go.
Are those triathletes, are they prepping for Oceanside? Is that coming up?
Oceanside. Evan's doing Oceanside. Yeah. And that is, I think it's like next
week
weekend
or something? It's close. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. It's coming up soon. Well, it's sometime in the next 2 weeks, I think. I don't know. So we'll see how he does. He's dealing with this like another hip issue. So, and it doesn't sound that great to me. I mean, he always kind of spins it and it's like, I'll probably be fine. But I'm getting an MRI. Like, dude,
That's not okay.
He's broken. But I worry that, he at least says like, well, I can get into the run and drop out. But like, he also doesn't like, his brain's like just turns off that kind of stuff. Like he's the kind of guy that'll run through pain and then not be able to walk after for a long time.
Right.
So he tore his labrum on his left hip and now his right hip is hurting. So I'm just a little bit concerned about like him going and racing and trying to race through pain. So
Sounds like somebody else I know.
yeah,
Freaking
your back thing was probably maybe not the smartest decision you've ever made.
I raced twice on a weekend
On a
where I
broken
should have
back.
done nothing.
Yes. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Lovely.
So that's my back pedal.
All right.
Moving
In the
right
spirit
along.
of keeping this thing moving right along, I rode on Zwift and I did some cross training in the yard, doing yard work. Yeah.
All right.
Good times.
How's the yard work?
It's good.
Is it like the first time that you mowed in a while?
Yeah, it's very early. I usually don't get into that until like late April. It's like a full like month early.
I'm overdue for mowing at my house. I've got some great looking grass.
Yeah.
It's thick.
Did you keep the mowing to zone 2?
I did. It was good zone 2 pace. So yeah,
Actually, base mowing season.
I'm trying to
It's base mowing.
be a little bit smarter about it too. Instead of going out there and doing like a 4-hour session, I'm trying to break it up into like 2 like hour and a half to 2 hour sessions so I don't kill myself.
What was it last year? You were going like berserko, or maybe it was
we had
2
a lot
years
of stuff going on. We had like a big party-ish thing going on at the house for graduation for my daughter, and I just wanted to get it all done, looking nice for her. And yeah, it about broke me, but I do things a little bit different this year. So
Gotta pace yourself, man.
You need to build into it.
yeah, still have not ridden outside, but I'm trying to make that change this week. So,
Okay.
yeah,
Let me know.
cool.
I'll go out there with you.
Promising.
Gibbo.
I went bicycle racing again this
Yes,
week.
race bikes.
Me and Lance freaking Hepler and a bunch of people from our Dial cycling team. So
It was like 12 or 13
It was
people
good.
that came out and raced. It was great.
I mean, yeah.
Real quick, so you guys did the Rowena
Rubaix.
okay, and was that on the same day as the Mason Lakes race, or was
No,
it the same
Mason Lakes
weekend?
was Saturday. Rowena Rubaix was Sunday.
Do you think that those things kind of took away from each other?
Maybe a little bit, but most of the Oregon racers stayed and did Rowena, and there was maybe 10 people that did both races, but not many did both races. Yeah,
I just sometimes wonder why
Yeah, I know,
Obra
trying to
and
fit things in.
WS.
You guys are totally hijacking my backpack.
yes, we are.
What the-
Ian, go take
Hey,
a nap.
We're
somewhere.
just setting the stage for you, buddy.
Jake's just about to have another diss on Ober, and I'm just jumping straight in.
Oh, was that not the state championship road race?
Yes, it was.
Hey, way to go, Obra! First road race of the
First
year.
road race of the year, state championship.
State championships.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think maybe they did it to help these guys along with their numbers. I'm not privy to that, but definitely having it as a state championships did boost the numbers, I feel.
Sure.
The race was split up so in the morning it was the non-championship events.
Yes.
And in the afternoon, the longer races counted towards the jerseys. So I think it did actually help that with this brand new event, having that championship.
That's not
Thing with
new. I mean, they resurrected it. Did they use the same course for the most
Exact
part?
same course.
Okay,
No,
but
not
it's a
quite,
different,
as I found out.
close enough though. Yeah.
Ian tried to turn 2 blocks early when we got to motion. That's a different story. But yeah, almost exactly the same course. So the old course and promoter was put on by Chad Sperry.
Breakaway. Yep.
Yep, Breakaway Promotions. That race went away in like 2018,
17.
17. So it's been almost a decade since that. It's been 8 years since that race is run. And a local race team decided they wanted to resurrect it. And so got the permits. And
Team Morgan, right?
Team Oregon.
Good job, guys.
Yeah,
And gals.
Wallenberg.
It was. I mean, it is a big production. Those roads out there, they're beautiful roads, beautiful scenery. It's a great location. But
Oh, yeah.
logistically, it's not the easiest race to put on for your first race. And those guys did a bang-up job.
Well,
It was
they did
amazing.
the Banana Belt too a couple of years ago.
Yep.
But Banana Belt is more.
Circuit race.
It's easier.
Yeah, it's just a big loop.
logistically,
Yeah.
a big loop.
Yep.
But this, they needed a lot of flaggers, a lot of traffic control.
Sure.
And anyway,
Well, they're a team that's been around for a long time. They've got a lot of people that've been racing for many, many years, so they can draw upon a lot of experience, I'm sure.
yeah.
Good on them.
But yeah, it was good. I decided not to do the longer championship race. I was kind of torn about it, but in the end, I think it was the best decision. I got to race with my teammates. It was me and Lance and Gary
Cornelius.
Tom.
Counts.
Who else was in our race? Like
John Hatfield.
Hatfield,
Chris Hannell.
Yeah.
Chris, the new guy. Chris Lubinsky. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna
Cliff.
Cliff, thank you.
Yeah, Cliff was there. So it was good. It was good to do that, and I was going to get my ass kicked in the longer race anyway because I'm not a climber, and it's really a climber's race.
Sure.
And the afternoon race was 3 laps as opposed to our 1, so it was relatively short, like a 32-mile race.
That is a little on the short side, but
Yeah.
it also makes it be kind of fun.
yeah, so you make up for the shortness by going more intensely,
Exactly.
I guess.
So tell me how it played out for you, Ian.
Just as I feared, I got gapped going up Rowena Crest, which was the first climb. It's like a 10-minute effort. I watched the lead group go away. I was in hot pursuit. Then I kind of had a big brain fart going down the hill into Mosier. And just like we did 8 years ago, I turned left into the town, and I'm like, wait, this is not right. Nobody else was following me.
Can't teach an old dog new tricks, huh?
Yeah. So
Yeah, 3 guys in your group followed you.
I went the wrong way, and then I stopped, and as I stopped, my chain dropped off.
Oh,
And then I started getting all Tourette's because I was pissed off that my race had just gone away.
Not PG.
that's
And so I spent the next 10 minutes above threshold trying to get back on, fueled by frustration and anger.
The chain drop wasn't a big deal. Was you able to get? Wasn't like stuck or anything?
It took a lot of time. Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
no, it wasn't stuck. No.
Okay.
Anyway, unbeknownst to me, Lance was in the group ahead of me, and he kind of controlled the pace a little bit, and I was able to.
You
get back on.
radio up to him?
No, I just knew that Ian and Tom weren't there.
Yeah.
And if I set a tempo pace, that Ian and Tom could catch us. And so I sat on the front. Nobody went around me in our little group for
You just
like
were
the
like
next 10 minutes. And
slow.
Ian and Tom caught
You
us.
were like Watts came down,
Yep.
eased it up.
And that's cool. Like
Did you put on a little bit of a show, though? A little bit of extra Hepler breathing?
I don't have to fake that. I'm going to be heaving anyway. So it was
You could have thrown down some like zone 4 wheezing
I could have.
to match the zone
If
2
people tried
effort.
to
You know?
pass, you should have swerved at him.
Swerve at him.
the climb. It's like a 6-mile climb, and the first half of it is on pavement, and then it goes into a gravel road. So I managed to get back on after a mile or so, and we just traded off pulls going up the gravel. It was, and that's why it's called the Rubaix, I guess, because it's got sections of off-road. Although it wasn't hard gravel, it was just yeah. And then that turned into a screaming descent, and then some rollers. We unfortunately, I think we lost Tom on the last roller, right?
Right before the descent.
But
and
it
then
did
him by
end up
himself,
with a
yeah.
group of 5 or 6 of us go screaming down the Rowena curves. That was the best part of the race.
Oh, yeah.
There's good video of it on my
Yeah.
YouTube channel.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the last 3 or 4 miles into town, and a little bit of a sprint at the end, like for 17th place or something. So it was good. It was a good race. A fun day.
Cool.
Yeah.
What did your numbers look like? Did you have
My numbers look ridiculously good. I probably need to calibrate my power meter. My normalized was over 300 for the day.
Oh, wow. What power meter are you running?
Stages,
Gotcha.
crank-based one.
Gotcha.
But I don't know. I mean,
Does stages exist anymore?
I
No, they
rode
got
my
bought out by Giant, if I'm not
I
mistaken.
rode
that
my
sounds right.
Garmin rally pedals at the gravel race 2 weeks ago, and I kind of got similar, comparable stuff. So I don't know.
There
I
you
don't know.
go.
I was happy with it. I still feel I'm carrying some fitness from camp and all the rainy
Tenerife
racing
and Arizona.
yeah.
And, yeah.
My CTL is still up at 100 right now from that. So yeah, it was good fun. Pretty happy with the performance, and
How about you, Hep?
Ian ended up second. He's trying to be nice about it. Our teammate Kurt Critchko ended up staying with the front group and won the 60 race.
Good job,
Ian was
Kurt.
second. Garrett Cornelius, our other teammate, was third.
So podium sweep?
So they had a podium sweep in
Hell
that
yeah.
60 race. Yeah. The 50 plus race, Chris Hannell won. He so the whole race. So for me, the whole race started together. I knew at this 3-mile climb to begin up Rowena Crest that I would not be able to stay with these little guys, so I hung on as long as I could. I hung on for 7 minutes.
Good. You had a good 7 minutes?
It was a 11-minute climb for me, and those guys all did it in 10 minutes.
Okay.
So I just didn't
How
quite
do your numbers look for that
hang
7
on.
minutes?
Yeah, they were good. They were like 3:20.
Dude,
Yeah, so I was fine.
that's impressive.
But got to the top, and Ian's group had gapped me by about 30 seconds. So Ian was ahead of me in a group of 5.
Okay.
So him and a group of 5 were cruising down to Mosier, which was 7 miles rolling downhill. And
did you catch up on the downhill?
I was with Tom Counts. We traded for a couple miles, and then I lost him on a roller. And then I put my head down and drilled it to try to catch Ian's group because I knew I wanted to do the climb with Ian's group. And I caught them just as Ian took a wrong turn.
Did you yell?
Yes, I yelled.
Everybody was yelling.
Everybody
Do you
was
have
yelling.
on your cycling? Do you have directions on the cycling
I
computer?
can't see my cycling computer.
No, it's not sorry.
He needs the Wahoo Ace.
I know. So I caught on, and Gary knew I was coming because he was peeking back, and he's like, "Oh, Hepler's catching us," which was great, which was all I wanted to do. But you, Gary, and one other guy, I think his name was Greg, all took the left turn 2 blocks early as I'm screaming, "No, go straight, go straight."
What computer do you have, by the way?
Garmin 530.
You don't even have your map up, though. He just has his watts and heart rate up.
And stuff. Yeah. Mapping might have helped.
I have my watts in large font. So I can
That's what
see them.
that's what I do. Is like if there's if I'm focused. Then one of the reasons I like the Wahoo is like you can focus on one number and then dial in if you need to see some more stuff. But like when you're in a race, you kind of want to just focus on what you want to focus on.
When I race, I keep my map of the course up, and at the top I have heart rate and power. That's it.
To be fair, though, there were marshals where I should have turned. There were not marshals where I did turn. So what was I thinking? I don't know. I did kind of see people at that junction. They appeared to be yelling and pointing.
When you're confident that you're going the right, like, because sometimes it's just like, the course, and if it's a previous course, whatever, you're confident, like, this is where I'm going. And you kind of almost start to think about, like, how I'm going to take this turn, like all the things. And you just roll. But how much time do you think that cost you?
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hey, quick question for you. Are you someone who wants to be fit, healthy, and happy? And what if I told you could get your dream body by simply just listening to a podcast? I'm Josh.
And I'm KG, and we're the hosts of the Fit, Healthy, and Happy podcast.
Listen, we get it. Fitness isn't easy. Carbs, no carbs.
Just stop, okay? It doesn't have to be that complicated. And that's why we made this podcast. We get straight to the facts so you can become your best you.
So the way to check us out is click the link in the show notes or search Fit, Healthy, and Happy podcast on any of the major podcast platforms. We'll see you soon.
In the end, it probably didn't make any difference because I did catch them up. But I did burn quite a few matches trying to get back on.
2 minutes? No.
Yes. Yeah. 2 minutes probably. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, where were you?
It's one of those things where you think like, okay, the extra weight of the Wahoo Ace would have not mattered. The weight would not have mattered to the amount of effort that it took to get back on course.
Yeah.
So I knew that I had just skipped you guys because I finally caught you, but I was there with one other guy, and Gary was able to catch us pretty quickly. I think he recovered faster, and you had to drop chain, so it took a minute. So we get to the bottom of that 6 mile climb, and I just went to the front, like I already said, and just kind of sent tempo pace until these guys caught us. And once they finally caught us, fantastic.
What's tempo pace? Just like you hit like 280? 280? Okay, that's pretty solid still.
Like 280, 290. I was trying to sit right around there.
Yeah, that's still fast.
I thought this was a 25-minute climb for us.
Oh, yeah.
Our group was like a 25-minute climb. The Hannel did it in 21 minutes. It's like a full 4 minutes faster.
It's a beast.
And the P12s did it in like 20 minutes, and a couple of them did it in 19. So they're way faster than we were. But we were cruising up this climb. We all got together, and my intention when we got to the top was to try to put a little bit of a gap in.
Yeah.
There's one screaming downhill before a hard right turn, and we were too close together, so I couldn't get away from everybody. And one of the guys we were with could descend very well, Jason Whittington, who he could descend really well. So I'm like, okay, fantastic.
All right, that's good. It's good to have someone to work with.
So we get back on the road, and it's 5 or 6 miles of rolling terrain before we hit the top of Rowena climb, where we're going to drop back down this climb that we came up. And we lost Tom on one roller on one of those, and we get to the descent, and I thought, okay, let's rip down this descent kind of as fast as we can. And Jason Whittington, this other guy with us, he was in the 40 fields. He wasn't even on our race, but that boy could descend. So he tried to drop us right there, but
he didn't know who he was up against.
You're not going to drop me. It's going to be hard to drop me on a descent.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of basically sat on his wheel and let him
do all the turns,
and really like was tapping my brakes most of the descent just on his wheel. And even with him like drilling it, like the 5 of us still had one of the fastest descents of the day amongst all the racers, including all the P12s and everybody else. So it was kind of funny.
What's the total distance of the race?
Our race was only 32 miles.
Oh, okay.
But 2,700 feet of climbing. So a lot of climbing in like, an hour and a half long race. So that was kind of it. That descent, I kind of had a thought that I could probably make a move there and get away from everybody.
Yeah.
But at the same time, my thought was, what's the point in getting a 10 or a 15-second gap at the bottom of this and then having 4 miles of flat
into a
headwind that I'd be doing by myself for what I was thinking was going to be like 10th place mid-pack, because I knew there was at least 10 guys in my age group up the road. And so I decided, no, I'm not going to drop these guys. I'm going to stay here and honestly, my thought was I'm going to stay here and lead out Ian.
Yeah.
I'm just going to work for Ian because I don't care if these other guys are 40 or 50. My placing doesn't matter at this point. I'm just going to be here and try to help Ian as much as I can. So we get to the bottom. We all kind of traded poles for about the first 2 miles, and then nobody wanted to go through. And I'm like, okay. And I even said it. I said, look, I'm going to go to the front, and then
I'll drill it for a while.
I'll drill it for all the way as far as I can. And then you guys can sprint it out. And so
all I ask is that you slap my ass on the way by.
Yes, and give me a
little push.
Yeah, so I pulled for like 5K at the end, and it wasn't fast, but it was
steady.
It was fast enough that nobody else caught us. We actually caught a couple other people, and nobody else could catch us. And so once we hit 200K, these guys sprinted it out, and of course Ian beat everybody.
I'm like Pavlov's dog, right? When I see 200 meters to go, I got to get up out the saddle and go for it.
Yeah.
It's just an automatic reaction.
Put a bike bell on your bike next time for.
It doesn't matter if I was sprinting for 17th place.
If I had the Wahoo Ace, it has a bell on it.
There you go. Yeah.
Bell.
Actually, I was sprinting for second place.
You were sprinting for second place.
I'd forgotten about Kurt, to be honest.
Yeah, because he was, It's 22 minutes in. So, anyway, I ended up like 13th in my field, but Ian was second, Kurt won, and Gary, our other teammate, was third. It was great. I had a great time.
Nice.
My video turned out fantastic.
Let me just say on that one, just while we're talking about old geezers, there was 21 of us, guys over 60 years old, in that class, in that race.
You know what's funny too? Because somebody from the outside who's not a cyclist hears about these 60-year-old riders out there racing their bikes. They have no freaking idea. These guys are not your mere mortals. They're not your typical average 60-year-old. So they're still hard to keep up with, ladies and gentlemen. They are fast.
Well, the faster 60-year-olds like Matt, they were in the after. They didn't even race with us. There was another 5 or 6 guys that raced in the afternoon. So the turnout for old geezers was pretty good.
Yeah, it was
pretty good.
Said it a million times. It's just a testament to the sport. It's something that if you do it consistently, whether you're competitive or not, it's going to keep you young and it's going to keep you fit. And if you want to go fast, you can still go pretty damn fast.
Yeah, it is cool. I mean, it's like it's a relatively low impact thing. So it's something you can keep doing into your older age.
Yeah, it's cool to watch you do it because I know that I can do this for like another 30 years. Right.
Yeah.
10.
Anywho.
Anyway, it was a great day with all our teammates. We had a good time out there. The weather actually held off for us. We didn't get rained on until we started driving home. So it was kind of a beautiful day out there.
Yeah.
So
good.
Yeah, apparently the rain came down hard after the last race was finished.
Yeah.
When they were packing away. So.
Yeah.
Good.
Awesome.
That's it.
Okay.
That's it, huh?
I won't
Moving
talk
on.
about any of my other rides. I did a bunch of other rides. You can watch them on YouTube.
Cool.
YouTube. Oh, Champ Bailey.
You gonna drop some cycling news there, Champ Bailey? You want to let us play a little bit longer so you can cue this up and get?
I'm ready.
Lance, get out of his seat. All right, here we go.
All right,
Champ Bailey
Champ
here.
coming in hot.
We have the Flanders Holy Week is about to start this week. So there's big, good, classic monument racing coming up. We got Paris-Roubaix this Sunday. No,
We've
got Tour of Flanders this Sunday, Paris-Roubaix a week after that. And so this is the lead up to that. We had
who's racing the Tour of Flanders? Do we know?
Everybody.
Everybody.
Tade, Matthew,
Wout, Mads Peterson.
Maybe this is the best race in the because we always have this debate at the end of the classics, like which classics is the best. It could always depend on like what the competition, who lines up, and how everything like.
It's
falls.
either Flanders or Paris-Roubaix. Those are the two big ones.
Yeah, but I meant more from like a compelling competition standpoint.
So this last weekend, there was the lead-up races to this. It's like the practice races, even though they're very big races on their own. We had E3 Saxo Bank race. Is that what it's called?
No, I'm trying to remember.
E3 Saxo Classic. I've got it all wrong. And then we also had the race that happened on Sunday, which was Ghent-Wevelgem. Yeah. So E3, Van der Poel just outclassed the whole field. He went to the front with like 30 Ks to go, I believe, and he rode everybody off his wheel on one climb and just rode away from everybody. He looks fantastic at the moment. Very strong. Easy win for him. I shouldn't say easy because
it was.
He had a pretty big gap, and I think he let it get down to as small as like 13 or 14 seconds. And when he sensed that, he just opened it up again, and then there was like, it was over. I mean, you were not going to reel him back in at that point.
That's correct.
It made it easy.
Yeah. So he ended up just going away, which was fantastic. He did not race Ghent-Wevelgem. Van der Poel sat out from that, but we had a similar performance from Mads Peterson.
Mads Peterson was
he went with like
rock
60
solid.
to go.
He went with like 60K to go. That was not his intention. I heard a couple interviews afterwards that wasn't his intention, was to go that early. But he ended up with a gap with 60 meters to go, and he's like, well, what the hell do I do now? I guess I just keep going.
Yeah.
Do you sit up and wait for the other sprinters to catch you? And so he decided to just keep pushing. And he was in a really good situation because his main competitor behind him, who was his main competitor? It was
the UA kid.
Well, one of them would be Philipsen.
Ayuso?
Right?
Was it Ayuso?
Not Philipsen, not Ayuso. He was at Tour of Catalonia.
Is that what
it was? Tim Merlier and Alexander Kristoff. Those are two guys that they were worried about. But Mads Peterson had his sprinter, what is his name? Jonathan Milan, who is super fast, in the group right behind him.
Yeah.
So Jonathan Milan was in a great position.
Yeah.
Team Trek was in a great position. If Mads wins, fantastic, they win. If they get caught, Jonathan Milan's going to outsprint everybody.
Yeah.
So anyway, Mads Peterson ended up winning by almost a minute, like 50 full seconds.
Show of force.
Yeah, he did.
He's a stud.
So that was exciting racing to watch, and that just sets up what's going to happen at Tour of Flanders and at Paris-Roubaix. Those could be fantastic. What I don't know is if Evenepoel is coming to those races or not.
I don't believe so.
He's still recovering from that. He had a
shoulder blade,
bit of a nasty accident, and so I don't think he's quite ready to be back yet. But Tour of Flanders should be fantastic with Van der Poel and Wout, and with Tadej Pogačar. I mean, there's going to be some fireworks.
There's a few names that are going to be looking good. Big question though, like Visma Lisa Bike.
Yeah.
They've got Wout in there, but I still don't see like that sparkle in him right now. I kind of think that they're going to probably support somebody else, and he'll be in there to do work for him.
And the question,
Jorgensen. So
yeah,
and he's looking pretty solid right now.
He's looking pretty solid. He was in the second group at this last race too. So,
and another person that is getting kind of hungry and looking kind of good just on the outside would be like, Michael Woods.
Sure, he's
another
been
guy.
there
So
as
I mean,
well.
there's a bunch of guys that are going to be pretty freaking solid. So this should be a good race. But again, it's probably going to boil down to two people:
Van der Poel or
Pogačar. Which one are you taking? And if it's not those two guys, who do you think it would be?
It's one of those two guys. It's going to be one of those two guys.
I mean, I can't see a reasonable situation where Jorgensen gets into a break and those guys don't answer.
There's no way they're going to let Jorgensen get into a break.
I think if it's not Van der Poel or Poggi, it's because one of them crashed or had a mechanical or something.
Yep.
You know, if the weather's not good and those cobbles are slippery, anything can happen. So, but otherwise, those two are so far ahead of everybody else.
You know, Who are you going to pick out of those two?
I would pick Van der Poel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nope.
You think Pogacar this time?
Yep.
A little bit more climbing?
Yep.
Yeah.
Because there's more climbing and more harder climbs near the end of the race, which was very different than Milan San Remo.
Very short, very steep climbs.
And
Lots
Pogacar
of
hasn't shown that he can power up those things as quick as Van der Poel can.
I don't know. I just see Van der Poel as a bigger, more powerful, punchy rider.
Yeah.
How about you, Matt? Who are you taking?
Race.
Pogacar, I figure.
Poggi?
Yeah, I think so.
I think Poggi as well, just because he's. I don't think he liked losing to Van der Poel. I don't think he liked that at all, and I don't think he liked. I don't know, people saying that he kind of screwed up or he played it wrong or all that kind of stuff. He's a good guy, but you can see that he's a fierce competitor, and I don't think that's going to set right with him. And I think that's going to fuel him just that little bit extra bit.
But Van der Poel's basically on his home turf, that corner of Europe. That's where he grew up, and he's with his bike handling skills.
And he lives there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll see, huh?
Cool.
It'll be fun. It's going to be fun to watch.
It should be fun. The other big race that happened, the 7-day stage race, the Volta Catalunya in the Barcelona area, that was very exciting racing as well. They had a very weird shortened stage. I don't know if you guys saw this.
Yeah.
So it was supposed to be like the queen stage of the whole race with all the major climbs, and there were like 100-kilometer-per-hour winds at the top. So initially they canceled the stage, and then the riders said, no, don't cancel the whole stage. And so they all got together, and then they started neutral riding, but they hadn't announced if there was going to be an actual stage or where the finish was going to be. And so they just kind of kept riding behind the neutral car, and then all of a sudden the neutral car said, okay, go. It's going to be a 28-kilometer race. It was like a whole freaking zoo of them trying to figure out how we're going to go. And they did a 28-kilometer race. I mean, what is that, like 45 minutes or something? I don't know. It was super short. But American Quinn Simmons ended up taking a flyer with 1,500 meters to go.
Dude, he's on point right now, too. Did you see him in the post-race giving the interview with that big old handlebar mustache thing going on and the long hair? He just looks like some
got
guy.
The whole Metallica mustache going on, and he has a full-on mullet.
He did look like Lenny from Metallica. That's right.
So just fantastic. So really happy
from
for
Motorhead,
Quinn.
I'm sorry.
I was going to correct you on that, but
Motorhead. But really, really happy for Quinn Simmons. That's his first actual World Tour victory.
Correct.
And so good on you. Even though it was a really weird day and it was a shortened, weird race, he still gets credit for a World Tour win. So
another win for another American.
Yeah,
Gotta love it.
Way to go, Quinn Simmons. So pretty exciting. It ended up coming down to the last day for the overall, and Juan Ayuso from UAE. He was kind of picked to win this race, but Primoz Roglic did not want to let him win. And they both missed out on the big queen climbing stage. And so it came down to this like circuit race that they did around Barcelona. And Roglic was down by a second, and he had to beat Juan Ayuso by more than a second. Or I think Juan Ayuso won some sprints, like bonus seconds too at some sprint.
Yeah.
And so he had to beat him by like 4 seconds to actually win the overall. And man, he pulled it off.
Yes, he did.
He just pulled it off. He got away, and he started drilling it, and he was off the front for like the last 15K of the race. And Juan Ayuso, he had his teammates, who's the one? The Yates brother, and just drilling it at the front to try to bring Roglic back, and they just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And so Roglic ended up winning the stage by like 14 seconds, and it was enough for him to win the whole stage. So it was pretty exciting.
Broke him a little bit. Yep.
Yeah. So pretty exciting. Anyway, so the racing was great. The racing was fantastic. The women's Ghent Velgem race was also fantastic. Rowena Rubaix had her 100th World Tour win at that race, and she was led out by her world-class teammate. It was all just fantastic racing. So good stuff.
Good job, everybody.
Champ out.
Champ out?
Yep.
Oh.
I did it with nothing but my own blood, sweat, and tears, and extra blood.
People don't. Yeah. You know, this is a sport with literally hundreds of dollars on the line and dozens of fans. The stakes are medium.
Come on. How do you beat a man on drugs if you don't on drugs?
Wait, did you just admit to being on drugs?
The EPO Chain Mail.
Send us a text with your questions. Forward this podcast to 15 people, and you'll lose 10 pounds overnight without even trying.
Yeah.
You've got mail.
Oh, good. Yeah. We got mail. We got one mail. One mails.
We got one mails.
And it's not even a question. It just was somebody reaching out and saying, thank you for answering the team camp questions that we talked about a few weeks ago. I must say your camp costs are a good deal. Yes, I would agree.
A good deal.
Yeah. We're going to do the same thing next year? Is that the plan?
Yeah, we're trying to do the same thing. I'm trying to nail down a date. I'm trying to get the house again for a certain date. And I still don't have confirmation because it's going to get harder to get that house. So.
Gotcha. Okay, so that was the only one. Not a busy week, but it also hasn't been a super long period of time since we last recorded. However, I want to try and encourage people to send us something. You just got to push that little, send us a text button on all the different podcast platforms. How many messages to make Lance, I don't know, what do we make Lance do? Drink a cup of coffee? I don't know. What is it? What are we going to do here?
I'm not drinking a cup of coffee.
Okay. What are you going to do?
What am I going to do?
Yeah. If we get X amount of EPO chain mails.
Hey, listen, I get a lot of requests to show my ass at races
No.
because I've mentioned it so many times. So I won't show my ass.
Oh, jeez.
There. Please send emails.
All right. No, seriously, is there some sort of wager that we can place here? It doesn't have to be Lance specific. If we get X number of...
maybe that can be one of the...
If we get a set number of emails, we'll do a live show somewhere.
Ooh.
That'd be fun.
I love the live shows.
So how many before we record next week? We'll say in a 1 week time period.
In a 1 week time period, if we can get...
10, 5,
Oh, I was going to say way more than that.
How many?
Let's say 25.
25? Geez, I don't know if we've had that many in total. Maybe.
We
have. We've definitely had that many. But
we
all they have to do
literally
is send
have
a message.
dozens of fans, and the stakes are medium.
Exactly. All right. Let's do this. Let's set it at 20. If we get 20 of those EPO chain mails, we'll do a live show.
We'll do a live
Schedule a live show.
And then how about this? We'll even do it live on the YouTubes. We'll do a live broadcast so that people can watch. That could be fun too. So send us your questions, your feedback, your comments.
Ooh, and
tell people that we don't want to see Lance's
save those
ass.
messages for the live.
There you go.
Okay. All right.
Oh, perfect.
It
It's
all
all
came
just came together like it always does. It just flows, right? Anyway, that's going to work because I know that people will come through. All 5 of our listeners will send us a bunch of questions each, and we'll be good to go. Cool. All right, let's move on. It's what day of the month is it? And what
April
month
1st.
is it?
It's April 1st.
And what month is it? April Fool's Day. You guys doing anything? Getting any pranks out
I
there?
usually do an April Fool's video, and I didn't do it this year
Didn't manage to put it out.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to make videos, right, Lance?
It is.
Well, anyway,
somebody does it every day, and I can't do one a month.
I'm doing it like 5 times a week. It's too much.
I don't know if we did this last month, so it's time to do this.
That's hot. That's hot. That's hot. That's hot. That's hot.
That's hot.
That's hot.
A little hot seat.
That's hot. That's hot. That's hot. This is hot. That's hot. That's hot.
Who wants to go first? Matt, you had a good question,
Yes.
I think. So
Okay, well,
That's enough
you don't know
for-
what the question is. It's a hot seat question.
You
no
said
one
you
knows.
had a question,
Maybe
so
it's a
I'm
good question. Maybe it's not.
there you go. All right.
Sodium bicarbonate, bicarb.
Oh.
Have you guys tried it? Are you guys interested in trying it? Would you try it?
You know, you keep seeing these World Tour riders like at the start line with their little
Their bowl.
Tupperware and their spoon, and they're eating the gel. So, I mean, that's the bicarb that they're eating,
yes.
right?
So-
So all these World Tour teams are using it.
Yep.
Yeah, I've done that. It's
You've tried it.
Martin.
Martin's got a packet that
It's like $70 for the kit. or something.
$70,
Huge.
and that's about 4 iterations.
Yeah.
You could use it for about 4 races for $70.
So I did it last season. I just bought it there once.
Yeah.
And I really had to think about which races, I wanted
or your
to
top
invest in, right? So, but it's really best for the shorter,
Right.
shorter efforts where you got to put out a lot of power. So
What-
like a 5-minute effort type
5
of thing,
minute? Okay.
I would say, because it supposedly buffers your
The pH level of your blood.
pH level, exactly. So really, when you're in a long race, if you're doing like a 2 or 3 hour race, and
Right.
the limiter right there is not acidity in the blood; it's more to do with, your substrate, you how much carbohydrates you've got left, or
Right.
or the tiredness of your muscles. But at that point, that's not the limiter. But
A lot of these pros are getting it. I wonder if they're doing it because they know that there's going to be some sort of 5-minute effort, and they do it on the starting line, knowing full
maybe,
well
yeah.
that you're supposed to take this somewhere between an hour and 2 hours before you're do this 5-minute
Yeah.
effort. So I'm wondering if they're like, hey, at the end of this 3-hour day, I'm going to need a 5-minute effort, or after about 2 hours or so of riding, I'm going to need some sort of effort.
Maybe either that or the big fight to get into the break.
Yeah.
Which is, the most intense part of their race often.
Yeah.
But I did find it was pretty effective for sure.
Really? You noticed?
Yeah. I definitely did notice.
If you were
And
just
so it comes in the gel is like this. It stops the bicarb from getting into your stomach somehow,
Yes.
so it doesn't upset your stomach. But
it passes. It's passing through your
Yeah.
stomach and being the bicarb is more absorbed in your lower intestines.
it's like these little white little peas, like little
Okay.
balls of bicarb suspended in this clear gel in the end. And
Because
that's
if
why
you just
you
took
mix
baking
it into
soda,
that. Yeah.
Yes.
you would
Shit your
puke it
pants.
up or shit.
Poo-poo.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
You're not. That's not the worst language
So
we've
that's
had
what
on this
I'm-
podcast.
That's what I'm doing wrong.
No, so this is like grocery store, $1 baking soda. Like
Right.
that's been something that athletes have played around with for
They also
40,
have
50 years.
The
And
topical stuff as well. You can.
I haven't tried.
I don't think it's very effective, but
Okay.
AMP.
The Amps performance
Oh,
gel
yeah.
stuff you rub down your legs
I haven't heard
beforehand.
about that.
It was really popular for like a year.
They had
when-
their moment, and now
well,
it's-
they were sponsoring like every podcast, so everybody was talking about it. And now I don't see it anymore.
They're lighting money on fire. Is what they were doing.
Yes, they were.
Now they ran out of money, and that's that.
The reason I tried it, the marathon stuff, is Jumbo Visma at the time,
Yeah.
Lisa Bike. That was what all those guys were taking. So I'm like, well,
I have a
seem
feeling
to be
that-
doing pretty good.
I would think that all of them are doing it. I'm seeing it
Yeah.
a lot in running and track and field right now, which almost makes more sense, right? Because a lot of the races are, somewhere between, 4 and 30 minutes or whatever. So
Yeah.
no race over 30 minutes for a lot of the track and field stuff. So it seems like it would fit that pretty well. What about if you did like a 5-minute effort, how much do you think of an improvement you would see? Like just wattage wise, would you
It's hard to say, really, because it
Couple of watts.
supposedly delays that burn in your muscles,
Yeah.
where your blood is getting so acidic. So, like if you were at a PIR and there was a super fast lap and you were trying to hang on
Maybe.
5, 6, 7 minutes, then I think it would help, definitely.
So,
But then then you're talking about $20 for one race.
$17.
That doubled your entry fee, really. If you're spending that much on a supplement,
right?
Well, and I'm thinking about this more for like you said, like you buy it once at the beginning of the season and you pick the 4 races that you're looking at. What about you, Lance? Is this something that you would try?
Yeah, I would try it, but it would be for something like a crit or a circuit race or something like that. I just never have. So
You gonna try it?
Maybe if Martin will sponsor me, I'd
Yeah,
be
they will.
happy.
They are looking for someone.
They're looking for a
It's just-
50-something idiot
He's
with
50 and he's an
fledgling
idiot. But does he
YouTube
have a mustache? Okay, then we're in.
Then we're in.
We
Send that guy
we
some
need him.
gel.
We need that guy.
I did just buy another Marathon product, which is their box of their gels.
Yes.
So they have these gels with 40 milligrams now of carbohydrate in them.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm kind of thinking that's probably good. Like
that's also
2
expensive.
of those an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like $5 each.
Which is a lot for,
Yeah,
I mean,
it
that's
is.
what, 5 times what most of the gels cost?
Yeah. But when I go out and do
Maybe a
the gorge gravel grinder at the end of this month now, that's going to be like 3.5 hours. I only need to take probably 6 of those.
Yeah.
To get my 80 grams an hour.
Just take a cheeseburger, dude. It's got more calories. It tastes better too.
Have you used those Martin gels before?
No.
They're thick.
So you want water with them?
Yeah, they're not like you can almost chew them.
Oh wow!
It's not like the science of sport where you're like,
no,
oh,
they're
this
flavorless though, right? As well.
They're quote unquote flavorless, but they're sweet, because they're filled with carbohydrates. But yeah, they have a weird consistency that might throw you off the first time you use them.
I need to practice with them then.
They're too expensive
They're
to
too
practice.
expensive to practice with. No, can't do that. What about you, Jake? Is this something that you would try?
Sure, why not?
Okay.
How you gonna beat a man on drugs when you're not on drugs?
How you gonna be a man on drugs?
Wait, did you just admit to being on drugs?
I wish. Maybe that's my problem. Anywho, yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah.
Try anything once. ish.
Yeah.
So,
all right, that's my hot seat question.
Cool. Thanks, Matt.
Move right along.
Gibbo, you got a question for us?
I got a question for you three. What are you training for right now, and how are you going about it? What's your strategy?
I'm training.
That was hot.
I'm training to be the fattest man alive, and I'm crushing it. I am crushing it right now. I might do a triathlon come like May. I'm just gonna see if it fits in with family schedule stuff. But I'm not doing a great job of like specific training for that event. I think it's a sprint triathlon.
Cool.
If you were to train for it,
one thing that we talked about this just briefly, I would want to do some runs off the bike, and I could probably do that like as we get closer to the race, as I'm like, oh yeah, I'm actually going to do this thing. Then, because I really do think for the listeners that are on this podcast that are looking for triathlon information, which I assume is 97% of you guys, you do need to run off the bike because it's a weird feeling. Like when you've been doing it frequently, like you've been a triathlete for a regular time, it's just not a big deal. But like if you have had a couple years off, like myself, then it's a pretty uncomfortable way to get out and do an effort. There's just a wobbly leg syndrome that just takes a little time. And when I was used to it, I would kind of have that wobbly leg syndrome, but like you were kind of numb to it and you could run pace that you were supposed to run. It wasn't a big deal. Now I don't know, but I think it would be a little bit more substantial. It would slow me down more than it should. So yeah, that's kind of the little piece of the puzzle that I would want to throw into my training, I think. So a little bit of brick running.
Sweet. Sounds good.
You're looking at me.
Yeah. Are you
I'm looking at you.
Are you going to do any racing?
I do want to race this year. I do have all intentions of doing that. I'm just kind of training to build resistance and resilience to injury because that's been a bit of a problem for me over the past few years. And I just want to be able to get out there and be competitive for a long period of time. But my biggest challenge right now is the fact that I just have been so short on time. I mean, I've barely been able to come up for air just to like respond to people or like, coordinate things with the team or just things like that. However, I'm starting to see a big bright light at the end of the tunnel, which is fantastic. And while going through that whole process, I'm like, just get your hours in, just try and pile up that Z2 as much as you can, where you can. It hasn't been great the last like 2.5 weeks, but it's still there. It's still happening. I'm still feeling good on the bike for all intents and purposes, but I really need to transition to riding outside. And then I really need to start sharpening things up and see where that goes.
Yeah.
Not getting any younger. So I got to make that happen. But yeah, that's about all I'm doing right now.
Epler.
I'm training for mountain bike races. So I've got like 6 more mountain bike races on my schedule for the next 2.5 months. And so I am desperately trying to rebuild my high-end power that you need in mountain bike races for those short, quick, hard efforts, and then to be able to recover from those. I've lost quite a bit with this injury, more than I want to admit.
Off your top end.
Yes, off the top end. Yeah, I mean, clearly I tried to do that mountain bike race out in Echo a week after that crash, and it was stupid. Really looking back on it, it was stupid. I was great for about 90 minutes, and then I was a complete disaster for another hour. And so that was really not very good for me. So I'm trying to rebuild those higher end efforts for that. And it's really specifically around the mountain bike races. So all these other races that I'm doing like 3 other gravel races during that time. I'm doing like 2 other road races during that time. Those are just gravy. I don't have like goals really per se at those races. I'm trying to do well in these mountain bike races and not embarrass myself in the Cat 150 plus field like I did at Echo. So I'm trying to redeem myself a little bit and race a whole lot
How's your
better.
injury? Are you all better now?
Yes, I still have some inflammation in my back. The bruise is gone. I'll refrain from showing you.
Do you want to go do a mountain bike workout with me sometime? On Round Lake?
I could do that.
Because we could, I was just thinking about this, we could do like a little circuit and like do repeats, like do like a workout where you do like repeats on a circuit where you and I definitely have like a different leave interval or whatever it is, but we could go do a workout where you could actually work on some technical skills, but it would also be fairly aerobic or whatever it is, where we, like, let's say you're doing a little loop that's a 3 to 5 minute loop or whatever. You might want to do something like that, like, I don't know, 8 to 10 times or something. I feel like that workout would be super fun.
It'd be good.
And it's different than if you want to focus on mountain biking this season, it would be fun to be like, oh, here's this workout that we do once every other week or something like that, where it's like you do mountain bike skills stuff, but it's also aerobic enough that it's like, oh, this is a workout. It's an interval workout.
I think this is the point I was trying to underscore, right? That
I see.
One of the pillars of being an effective athlete is training with specificity, right?
Yeah.
Especially right now, this time of the season, right here in the Pacific Northwest, it is race season already. So, like, what are your events? So, like with mountain biking, that's right. It's either completely off the power,
correct,
like on a technical descent, for example, or right on the power on a steep ascent, or at the start of the race, or trying to sprint into a single track section or something like that.
There's
right?
very high intensity sections, and then other times where you're at 0 watts just trying to rip down a trail. And generally the mountain bike races I do, the climbs aren't more than about 4 minutes. So there's a few outliers that are like that, but most of these local races I'm doing, there isn't a climb that's more than like 3 or 4 minutes. And so I don't need to train my 10-minute power. I need to train my 4-minute power.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm trying to up those little things. Like this morning, I already did my workout for the day because I'm going to be busy the rest of the day, and we were trying to get this done. And I did it on Zwift because there was a Netflix thing I wanted to watch. Anyway, so but I did like these 1-minute efforts at like 480.
Ooh, that sounds quite painful.
So I did 90 minutes of zone 2.
That's impressive.
And then tried to do 1 minute. Okay,
how many 1 minute?
90 minutes of zone 2 beforehand?
90 minutes of zone 2 beforehand on Zwift.
Okay.
So 90 minutes at 200 watts. And then I tried to do 8 of these 1 minute.
How much recovery in between each 1 minute?
1 minute.
Okay,
so
that's insane. That's hard.
1 minute at like 470, and then 1 minute break at like 220.
That's harsh.
I didn't complete them.
How many did you get through?
I got through like 6.
That's really good.
But I had to skip like the second one in both sets.
Okay.
But that was the
Still
point.
pretty good.
I'm trying to do
hard things. Yeah.
Do these hard efforts because I lost all that top end after having this great winter training base in Arizona and then crashing and then like laying on the couch. So,
but that's a good workout. Right now, amongst the pro teams, this is a hot topic, and how they go about assessing potential athletes is they measure. There's this new metric they're calling durability.
Yeah,
and they'll set these workouts where you do 2,000 kilojoules of work, for example. Like a 90 minute zone 2, zone 3 type of pace, and then go hard after that. So they were saying that a lot of people have got that ability to go hard on fresh legs, but the real winners, the guys that can make the decisive move, the guys that are in the decisive part of the race, have durability, so they can pull off those super high intensive intervals after prolonged.
Have we talked about this on the podcast? Because I feel like we were talking about how they were trying to figure out which World Tour riders were, the ones that, how do you separate World Tour riders, where the durability metric was like the one way where you could see like, oh, these guys are a step above the rest of the World Tour riders, because all of them can put out ridiculous numbers for a long period of time. It's like, who can put out ridiculous numbers at the end of a ridiculous time?
Well,
it's
that was
totally wild.
Today's workout, if I'd done those sprints in the first 20 minutes, probably could have done all 8 of them. But I did them after 90 minutes of solid zone 2.
But that's real world as well. I mean, that has relevance to our little races we do out here. Like, how much can you put down when you're already tired? I think that's one thing that we should all strive to improve, for sure.
Well, I would have liked to hear that when I was crying to myself when I failed that 7th interval today. I'm terrible.
You can try it again. You can try it again. That's still those numbers are ridiculous.
It was hard.
Good job.
Question. Yep.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Well, I'm just on my own thing. I'm doing Banana Belt Road Race next weekend. It seems to me there's just this one hill, and it's like a minute and a half that always gets kind of crazy. So I'm doing my weekly 2-minute VO2 max intervals. It kind of it does make a difference physiologically. You're improving your VO2 max abilities or that duration of effort, but also the mental thing. You have confidence that you can pull off that power for that amount of time. Then you're not going to sweat it about getting dropped in the race because you can do that. So that's a big part of it.
Good confidence booster.
Yeah.
Plus your body knows how to hurt. There's a lot of little things that are very, very beneficial to doing workouts that are specific to the race you're going to do.
Definitely.
Lance, have you got a hot seat question, or are we moving on to Jake? Who's next?
Lance's turn.
Okay.
My hot seat question was going to be about Tour of Flanders and Paris-Roubaix and who your favorites were. And you guys freaking hijacked it earlier today.
Okay.
Oopsie.
Got anything else?
No.
Jake, you got a hot
You
seat
got
question?
no questions? You loser.
Yeah.
That's a good
You
question.
got no durability, dude.
That is also true.
You're lacking your durability.
I failed my workout today.
All right, I got a question for you. It kind of stems off of a little conversation Ian and I were having right before we started the podcast. Ian just sold his time trial bike.
Oh, okay.
It's a happy day and a sad day.
Yeah.
You lose a bike, it's like an old friend, but it's going to a good home, a good person.
That's
so
true.
that's good. However, you're just kind of like of the mindset, like I use that bike once a year. Why do I need to hold on to it? So my question is, should we encourage more people to do the same? Should we
Sell
encourage
their
more people
bikes?
get rid of their time trial bikes? And
Oh.
reason being is like,
No.
there's going to be the triathlete contingent that's going to like really want to say no to that. And I get that. I really do, because that like once you get to that stage of the race, that's what everybody's riding. I mean, you're really not using a road bike at all. You're using a time trial bike.
And a lot of triathletes will train on their triathlon bikes.
So for everybody who's not a triathlete, does it make sense in this day and age to have a TT bike? In some cases, yes, because there are some stage races that have them, but it seems like stage races are starting to go more the direction of like, this is going to be an Eddie category because the numbers aren't all that great. And they're thinking that that's going to help promote more people to come out and bike race by saying, all right, we're just going to have the time trials be on road bikes. Why not just have everybody do that? Like for us, the Michael Myers time trial that we just had, and we've put on for quite a few years in a row now, the biggest categories, hands down, are always the Eddie categories.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the more and more we just take away these race opportunities, these guys that really love time trialing, there's just no options for them.
We can, but those fields are so stinking small. I mean, granted, it's at a time of the year where it could be very blustery outside. It could be whatever.
Yeah.
You're still going to get the purists and the hardcore people that love themselves some time trial to come out, but you can still like have that same.
It's also a really nice little avenue for taking like triathletes and being like, hey, come bring your tri bike to this, time trial event. Do something different.
The thing that I was pitching to Ian though is like, why don't we kind of flip this though? We can still offer those categories. We can still have people come out and race, but let's try and like shrink them down. And there's some logistical issues with that, and really start to lean more into the Eddie categories just to get more people to come out. And I got way more reasons why we should do that as opposed to just keep it as it is.
Well, I whether our opinions, we go around the table and we give our opinions, and those are important. However, you should probably be following the data, right? Like if the data is saying like not many people are coming out here to race time trial stuff, then and everyone's doing Eddie, like follow the data, right?
Sure.
That's, as a race director, you want to promote certain aspects of the sport, sure, but you also need to hit the bottom line. Mm-hmm. So, the bottom line is like there's more people that want to do this than that, then that's what you do.
Sure.
It's a strange concept when you think about it. What is a time trial bike? Okay, so it's aerodynamic. You can, you have an aerodynamic cockpit, so you're steering your bike with your elbows, basically. Mm-hmm. But it's still restricted. You can't just bring you can't bring a bike that's legal in a triathlon race to a
correct
a race that's
to most races.
There's
There's
some slight difference in the rules. Yes.
Yeah.
Now,
But what I'm saying is every bike is going to be a compromise. You set the formula just like in motor racing. There's a certain dimensions and so on. You've got to abide by. So a time trial bike is by definition stuck somewhere in the middle anyway. So
do you feel like someone shows up with a beam bike at Mike Myers Memorial? Would you guys be like, sorry, go ride you got to bring a different bike? Like that's clearly illegal on this time trial race.
No, everybody that has any kind of bike, it doesn't matter what the bike was, they
Really,
can come.
just
As
go.
long as it's not an e-bike, nobody's saying anything. The officials don't care. They're just happy
Can't
to
be
have
an
people
e-bike.
out there.
Recumbent bikes are super fast, actually.
But in years past, we didn't have it this year. But in years past, we have a recumbent category.
There was a
We
guy
did.
that
We did
there was a
this
guy
year.
that had,
Did we have anybody do it?
Yeah, one guy.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, is it the same guy that's been doing it for 100 years?
Ron, somebody.
And he does
Yeah.
he have like one of those like bullet recumbent?
Yes.
There's one guy that like, and that thing absolutely flies.
Yeah.
It's probably like the fastest way to bike, right? Like
Ron Stout.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
Yep.
He's been doing it for a long time, since it was Jack Frost and all that
I
stuff.
think the arguments against time trialing bikes are quite persuasive, really, because one, it's a big barrier for entry.
Buying a $5,000
Buying
bike.
a $5,000 bike that you
And that's getting off cheap
And-
too,
and-
unless you're buying a used. But anyway,
and the and that you kind of need it if you want to be competitive. If all your peers are riding expensive time trial bikes, and each watt you save by doing that, you kind of have to do it. So it's unfair in a way. You could argue it for those without the means to buy an expensive time trial bike. Secondly, there's the whole safety thing that people don't want to be out on the open road, riding, steering the bike with their elbows, with their hands away from the brakes. It's not a safe
and looking
way
at their
to train.
front tire because it's an awkward position to keep your head up. Yeah.
Yep.
There's a lot of things about the time trial bike that are great, but in my opinion, there's even more that make it not great. And that's why I never bought one. I mean, I thought about it for a second. I'm like, I'm pretty decent at this time trialing thing. Let's lean into it a little bit. And I'm like, and I just never wanted to pull the trigger for a lot of reasons in that how many times am I going to use that a year?
And now
Not
it's
many.
even like less of a option. Like it's like less of you have zero motivation at this point, right? I mean,
Correct,
like
yeah.
there's really one race that you would use it at.
Yeah, there's other time trials that land on the calendar, and they'll be down in the Corvallis area, and that's great. But if I'm going to go down there, I'm just going to enter in the Eddie category. And for those that don't listen, the Eddie category, and a lot of people first talk about that, is just riding on a traditional road bike with no aero equipment. Now, for a long time, it was like no deep dish wheels, but now we've kind of like said, yeah, you can go up to 40 or 50 millimeters because that's just what a lot of bikes come with. And we're not trying to get into a situation where like, oh, you can't come out and do that. Now you have to go out and buy another set of wheels and put that on your bike and spend more money. Like we're trying to make this as inclusive as possible. So yeah, if you've got one bike, you can go do all of these races just fine. And if you really absolutely have to get into that category, be like Lance, just put some aero bar clip-ons on there. And it's not going to be as aeros like your traditional TT bike, but it's still going to work out really well. And I've told the story about like racing against our own Chris Hamill, Dr. Jojo Shabadoo Jr. And I didn't race against him, but he did the Eddie category in the state championship time trials. And then I ended up going into the traditional TT category, and I put some aero clip-on bars on my road bike, and he and I had very similar times, and I was about 2 minutes faster than he was just because of the position that I was in.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can still be damn fast, but there was a person that beat me that normally wouldn't beat me, but he beat me by, I don't know, 15 or 20 seconds because he was on a TT bike.
Right.
So that made that much of a difference. So there is a difference, but I don't know.
I made the argument for taking the TT bikes away, but really, I like it. I think you can geek out over the aerodynamics. It's kind of fun to try to go as fast as you can, and definitely the TT bike makes you go faster. It's a whole different discipline, you're going to put out a little bit less power in that position, but then you're going to make up for it in getting smooth in the air. And that's just another aspect to cycling. It's like buying a gravel bike or a mountain bike. It's another discipline to get into.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool in a geeky kind of way.
It is.
I agree.
Bikes are cool in general, but I'm kind of thinking of it from a perspective, I guess, of just bike racing in general. I think that it would be healthy for the sport if we keep all of the TT categories, because there are people that have their TT bike, they love it. There's going to be people that want to buy them that like to geek out over all that stuff. But I'm saying lean into the whole Eddie category a bit more and see how many more people you can come out to race bikes. That's got to be the most efficient way to lower that bar of entry or lower that barrier of entry so that people can feel comfortable trying something new and say, I want to race. I don't know about this crit racing or the road stuff. That all sounds hard. I'm going to get dropped. Well, just come out here and try this time trial. And, for us, we offer a race that's like bone flat. I mean, it's just like flat, like what, 50 feet of elevation gain over 12 and a half miles. That's flat. So you don't have to worry about that. And it's just you against the clock. You don't have to worry about mixing it up with other people. You go out there and you have a blast and like, okay, I kind of like that. I got to see the people and the vibe. That's that gateway drug that people are going to use to come out and start trying some other things. And like, if you like that, well, maybe you should come try this. And if you like this, come try that. You know,
and I do like that. That's one of the things that we try to promote about the time trial that we host is that it's non-intimidating, that it's something you can do if you've never pinned on a number before. It's, you know, it's flat roads. There's no traffic. You don't have to, it's not like a road race where you feel you're going to get dropped and, you know, you don't know until you cross the finish line how well you did.
Yeah.
And there's something pure and, like I said, non-intimidating about that. And being able to do it on your regular road bike makes it even more so, I guess.
That's the race of truth, too. You'll get some decent numbers to work off of. So,
but I'd still think it would be a shame to see TT bikes completely go away.
So Ian and I kind of experienced the shift in the industry in these two big, huge road races that we did up in Arizona this in January, February, where we did the Valley of the Sun road race, which was in the Phoenix area, and it was a 3-stage road race, and it included a traditional time trial. It was a 10-mile time trial that you were allowed to use time trial bikes at. And that race had 1,000 participants in it. The week after, we did the race in Tucson, which is called the Tucson Bicycle Classic, another road race with 1,000 people in it. But they also had a time trial, but it was Eddie rules. You could not use a traditional time trial bike. And I think their whole point, I think Tucson's whole point in going Eddie style was to lower that barrier of entry to let more people do the race. And they still... Maybe it was like 800 participants or something. It wasn't quite as big as Valley of the Sun, but Valley of the Sun was huge for juniors. So I don't know. You can see this big shift in these huge national level, you know, road stage races, and one of them went Eddie style.
Yeah. And like you were able to make it work. You were able to borrow a bike from somebody.
I borrowed a bike.
Plus, when you're going down there, if you didn't have a bike to borrow, you usually have a van that you can load up with a bunch of bikes, but that's just going to take up space. For the average person, though, trying to get down there to do a stage race, and if it was one of those situations like you're going to show up and you're going to do great, except for in that time trial, because you don't have the right bike and you're going to automatically lose a bunch of time, then you're not going to be able to be competitive.
You're going to have to fly across the country with 2 bikes.
So Ben Vander Zandt, a local athlete, he went down to Valley of the Sun and did that road race with a couple of his teammates, but he could only fly with 1 bike, so he only took his road bike. He didn't take a time trial bike, and he just knew that he would take the hit in the time trial because you're just not going to go as fast. And so he knew that he wasn't going to be in it for the overall because he was just going to take the hit in the time trial, and then you're there for the crit in the road race and the
you're
circuit race.
Never going to make that time back up.
No,
you lose on the time trial.
Yeah.
So what are they doing with Baker City? Didn't they kind of do the same thing, or was that where they said you're going to do the Eddie category? You can race your TT bike, but you pay a 2-minute penalty or something like that. Didn't they penalize you if you're on a TT bike?
Yes. So effectively, it's an Eddie class time trial because the penalty is too stiff. If you do the math, you're not gonna go that much faster. You're not gonna make up that 2 minutes on a time trial bike. You might make up a minute and a half of it, but they've gone the same way, and the same arguments hold true. Like you've got to get yourself to Baker City, which is in it's a 4 or 5 hour drive from from here or Boise or it's in the middle of nowhere, basically Eastern Oregon. You got to get 2 bikes there. If your finances stretch to owning 2 bikes in the first place. So they've gone pretty much Eddie only. You can wear a skin suit, you can use aero helmets, shoe covers, all that stuff, but your bike has to be a road bike.
Yeah, that all makes all the sense in the world to me.
Yeah.
I mean, from a logistical standpoint, it just works. And again, I'm not opposed to TT bikes. I mean, they're cool for a lot of different reasons, but to know that you can go do all of these things now with 1 bike, and you can still geek out on like, how can I get faster on my road bike? And you start working on other things to do that. And what's nice about that is it will translate over to when you're doing like a road race or a crit race. Like, hey, all this work I did on, trying to be a faster time trialer on my road bike, I can employ that when I'm in this breakaway, or I can employ that when I'm doing X on this particular race. It's going to be one of those things that's going to pay off for you.
I found the rules for Baker City's time trial. So Cat 3 racers and below are racing Eddie Merckx style.
All Eddie Merckx.
All Eddie Merckx style.
Okay.
From Pro 1-2 men and Pro 1-2 women and Masters 1-2-3s are racing full aero with no restrictions.
And there's no time penalty. So I guess
Masters
they got away from
1, 2, and 3.
Yep, and Masters 60 plus.
Damn, I shouldn't have sold my time trial.
Our full aero. You can borrow it, I'm sure.
Is it a 1, 2, 3 field and a 3, 4, 5 field, or is it both? And they're just kind of stretching that.
That's correct.
That 3 thin.
I think so.
Interesting. All right.
There is something cool about a TT bike. It's just that pure expression of speed. It's like buying a fast sports car or something. You can geek out on it just being a sleek, fast bike, and it's a joy to own. Yeah.
But let's look at it from a logistical standpoint and a cost standpoint. I mean, how much does it cost to get into a TT bike these days?
Yeah.
Not a lot of brands are making the lower level TT bikes anymore because the demand has gone down for them a little bit. You know, I remember BMC came out with their latest iterations of their time trial bikes, and I think the least expensive option they had was like $16,000. However, that's BMC,
but still, a decent, updated, all the newest stuff on it time trial bike is going to cost you $15,000.
Yeah, you're going to be lucky to get into something for, I don't know, 5 to 7 used if it's going to be in that genre, and you can get some older stuff that's going to be less expensive. If somebody like Ian that's selling a really nice TT bike that's maybe a few years old, you can get a deal that way, but it's not going to have all the latest bells and whistles. Like if you truly want to have the latest technology built into a bike that's going to give you every last little minute bit of like marginal gain, you're going to be spending money out the nose.
Yeah.
And if you're really into this whole bike racing thing, how does that stack up when you've got to get a road bike too that's going to be super expensive? Granted, you have a lot more options out there to keep that in check cost-wise, but still, it's such an expensive sport to begin with, and to do 2 bikes and then have to travel with them and then trying to train on both of them as well, because you have to train that position. You can't just go out there and be fast and say, oh, just because I'm fast on my road bike, I'm going to get on a TT bike and I'm going to be just as fast. No, it's not like that at all.
Right.
You have to really train up that position. So,
God, I think I was putting out probably 30 watts less on my TT bike.
Sure. Yeah.
Yep.
I was faster, but still, power was.
Matt, will you ever buy another TT bike?
I would love to. But the I think argument that I have that you guys aren't really thinking about is that I would want to use it for triathlon, and you guys are really focused on road racing.
Correct.
Whereas with road racing, I might hop in a road race and do something, especially if it'd be fun to do something with a TT in it. Like I enjoy doing that. Same thing that kind of Ian said, there's something pure and fun about having a bike and trying to go as fast as you can on it, which is a TT bike.
Yeah. I have to admit, though, when I first started riding with you, more times than not, you were on your TT bike for a lot of the rides that we would go. If we were going to go out and do like a really hilly ride out there, you would jump on your
Sometimes
old
Specialized. I would still do like a TT bike, even if it was like a hilly ride.
And you commanded yourself extremely well on that bike. And it was actually fun to go ride the flatter stuff with Matt because it pushed me a little bit harder. We used to do this beaches ride, and Matt was freaking fast on that TT bike.
Got so used to that position and that bike that I felt much more comfortable on that bike than a road bike, even if we were doing like 100-mile ride. In fact, we did Seattle to Portland, and I was like, I know this is weird, but I really want to use my TT bike. That's the bike that I train on the most.
Yeah.
So, and I'm training on that bike the most because that's the bike that I was racing on. I was not racing at all on a road bike.
Sure.
So,
and sometimes you get nervous having somebody in your group riding on a TT bike, and you're like, but Matt always did such a great job of composing himself, and I never had to question him. He was just always Johnny on the spot, safe and predictable, and it worked out really well. I can't say that about everybody else, but
TT bikes are squirrely, and I think the key is like, don't get in the bars when you're behind another wheel, because that's time that you don't have to get to the brakes.
Mm-hmm.
So use a TT bike if you're out front and someone's on your wheel, but otherwise
a few years ago we did a team time trial
down
by Eugene Coburg, I think, and that was kind of interesting, like being in the skis.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And drafting people, being in a pace line.
Yeah.
I was kind of nervous.
You're leading me into my last thing that I really wanted to see is more time trials. And I think that you're going to get more people to sign up and come out and actually do that if you're doing it on road bikes, because it's just there's so many people that don't have
hard
them.
to put together like a 5-person team of people that have TT bikes.
Yeah,
I mean,
a lot of the Ober races here were groups of 4 usually, if I'm not mistaken, for the team time trials. And there was a point in time where there was a pretty good chunk of people that had a TT bike, so they would put those on and get pretty decent registration. I think to put something on now, it would be difficult. But however, if you did an Eddie class, I think that you could really draw some people out.
Oh, I think that'd be really fun. I think teams would really love that, having like that team aspect of it.
Sure.
Like, okay, Jake's stronger here. We put him out for 2 minutes, and then we have Lance come in at 1.5 minutes. Like, you can just have so much fun with the team strategy part of it.
Just don't let Lance drink some Rocket Red before you do a team time trial.
Or eat salsa.
Or salsa
too.
Yeah.
We did a team time trial. What was it, 2019? I think it was. It was like me, you, Surratt.
Yep.
Who was the fourth? Was it Hannel?
I think so.
Maybe.
And I was fresh off the boat from like a 2-week cruise, like completely detrained, and I puked all over myself and got dropped.
Wow.
Good day then.
Anyway.
Oh boy.
I still like TT bikes. I think they're great. I don't personally need one. I do think that leaning into the Eddie stuff would be good for bike racing in general. Don't want to see TTs go away from having TT bikes, but I think that the crown jewel of the race needs to be more Eddie based. That's just my 2 cents.
Okay. That's fair. Good hot seat question.
Ian, do you miss your TT bike?
Already.
It was yesterday.
Ian sold his second child, so.
Hey, so get this. I went on Bike Reg to see, what the numbers were like, people who had registered for Baker City. And there's like 130 people that have already registered for Baker City. And so I'm looking through the names, and I realize I'm not recognizing any of the names of people that are registered until I started reading the names. So the Pro 1-2 field of men are made up of Moose Dorkson, Lugnut LaPuff, Shaky Mustard from POA Racing, Dr. Mud, Bart Smells, Ebenezer Merckx. So clearly it's a April 1st joke. They replaced everybody's name.
Oh, well played.
Has been replaced. Captain Frankenstein, Barney Road Rash, Wobbles Vanderlegs. Okay, this is brilliant. Well done, Bike Reg. Well done.
Brilliant.
Hey, I got a free entry for Baker City.
Oh, you did?
For podiuming at Rowena.
Oh,
sweet.
Fantastic.
Nice
job.
So,
That's worth like $250.
I know.
Well done.
Except I'm going to have to do it now.
All right.
If you think I'm coming out there to help you with that, you're probably right. I will.
Enough of that stuff. Let's do one last thing so we can get out of here. Matt, you want to kick us off?
Sure. I always do one last thing. I have a video coming up soon as I can get behind the computer and start editing, called the top 10 GPS watches of 2025. And I've got it like half built. It's I did it last year, and it's not that hard of a video to make, but people, that's what they want to see. And so it does tend to get a large amount of views. I think last year's video has 160,000 views or something like that. So I'm like, okay, let's just follow this formula, do it again. And then after that, I'll do the Apple Watch cancer bands, the watch bands that are not really causing cancer.
Is it still Casio's?
Casio.
Like, is it still for them to lose? I mean, is it still their race to lose for your top watches for 2025? The calculator
Casio calculator watch. There's nonstop. That's a watch from 1981, and even in 2025, that watch is unbeatable. Yeah. So yeah, that's a given.
Yep.
That was an April Fool's video from quite a few years ago.
Do yourself a favor, go check it out.
Yeah, it's a good one. Check it out.
Cool. I'm bummed that I'm not going to see Chester.
Well,
Chester Heater. Well,
I know.
The day's not over yet, so maybe Matt can talk to Chester and put
it's not
something
happening.
out.
It's not happening today, but maybe next year.
Yeah, get him together with Champ Bailey. You could put something out there too.
Yeah, that's true.
There you go.
So the interwebs. Ian, do you got one last thing for us?
Yeah, one last thing. If you live in the Pacific Northwest and you're on a bicycle racing team, come out to race this weekend. We've got a great lineup. Saturday is the Paper Town Classic out at Longview.
Sweet.
Flat race, sprint finish. Should be fun. Sunday, Travis Richardson is putting on the Banana Belt Road Race out at Hog Lake.
Back-to-back weekends.
Back-to-back weekend.
What's next weekend, just out of curiosity?
Some mountain bike rubbish, I think.
This weekend?
No, this weekend is those two races. What's the following weekend?
It's Bone Crusher and Sea Otter. and PIR begins.
Why wouldn't they spread those out by a week? Just out of curiosity.
I don't know.
It's just trying to get races every weekend. There's something on. If you're promoting a race right now,
you might lose a couple people to a mountain bike race, but you're going to lose a lot more people that are doing the same discipline if you're doing 2 races in 1 weekend. Now, a lot of people want to do that kind of stuff, like doing the back-to-backs. But some people, it's a bit of a commitment for
every
to go
weekend.
bike
There
racing.
seems to be some kind of conflict, though. It's hard to get your race in there, but yeah, I mean the Paper Town, you can do that and come out of that without too much fatigue. I mean, sit in the pack, right? And it's flat.
This is true.
It's not, the distance isn't too far. People are going to be drilling it. It's going to be fast, but hey, but definitely Banana Boat. I think that's a great race. It's well worth coming out to, and it's the second race in the Pacific Northwest Cup Series held here. Between Washington State Bicycle Association and OBRA. And so it's the second of 4 events. And it's going to be good. The weather looks like it's going to be good this weekend. Say, come on out, join us. If it's like last weekend and we had a bunch of teammates, it's so much fun.
Sure.
Racing with your friends.
Yep, you got one last thing?
I do. One of the big races on my calendar is actually this Saturday, and it's not Paper Towns. The Mudslinger mountain bike race is happening this Saturday down in the Corvallis, Oregon area. So I'm headed down there to do that race this weekend. And hoping to redeem myself a little bit in that Cat 150 plus field. So we'll see. Mudslinger
just doesn't sound appealing.
It is in a forest.
Is there those like logging roads back there?
They are. It's a private forest that they log sections of, and so the trails aren't used that much. And
I've run back there. It's beautiful.
We're going to have like beautiful weather. Beautiful weather's coming, but it will not dry out in that forest. There will still be muddy sections.
Will you be slinging mud?
There will be some slinging of some mud that will happen. So there'll be quite a few teammates that'll be at that race. I'll be giving it a go. I'm not sure I can make it to Banana Belt because my wife is having surgery on her shoulder tomorrow.
Oh, that's a lot.
So
Brandy will understand.
I am the sole caregiver post-surgery for her. So I'm not sure I can leave her alone for like 2.5 full days to fend for herself. I might not have a home to come home to if I just like ditched her. So we'll have to see how it goes.
I feel bad for her.
I know.
She's the worst.
Everybody's told her that shoulder surgery is like the worst. So she is dreading it. So that's my day tomorrow.
All right, well, wish you luck.
Thank you, Jake.
Cool. My one last thing is the Dialed Weekly Rides are back. We had our first Tuesday night gravel ride last week, and there will be another one tonight. And then this week marks the return of the flogging ride.
Oh.
This Thursday, flogging ride's back on again. And we will be putting that out on Strava for those who are interested and local and want to join us for those. The flogging ride's pretty cool in that we have multiple groups in terms of like your ability levels. So we've got an A group, B group, C group, and then sometimes even a D group. And we have all of the descriptions of all of the different rides, not rides, but the categories, if you will, in terms of how fast they generally ride. And if you go and show up and you kick everybody's butt, we're going to make you go up to the next one next week. And if you go and get dropped, you know that you can maybe, cycle down to one of the ones below you and come out every week and do it. And you're going to get stronger, guaranteed. And then we are going to start the Fog Hat Friday, the social rides. We generally start those the weekend that we have Memorial. I think based on the number of people that have asked for that, we're going to push that up a little bit, and we're going to probably start closer to the beginning of May. So about a month from now, and that'll be weather dependent. So and then
Cinco de Mayo.
There you go.
Fired off. It's gonna be. You can have a theme. You can have a Cinco de Mayo theme.
There you go.
For a ride.
That's a fantastic idea, Matt. That's why we keep you around.
That's what I'm here for.
And then there'll be a bunch of other stuff on the calendar too when there's not bike races. If there are bike races, go race the bikes. Have fun doing that. You guys got anything else to do? Nothing else to say?
That's it.
Yeah, cool. Happy April Fool's Day. It's April 1st. I can't believe it's already April. Crazy. All right, we will be back next week with another one of these. And until then, bye for now.
Sloth. You're gonna live with me now. Yeah, I'm gonna take care of you. Because I love you.
I love you, Chuck.
Oh, I love you, Sloth.